All right, moving to question 7. A 21-year-old college student is rushed to the emergency room because of a high-grade fever that started this morning. She vomited several times last night. She is complaining of severe, unremitting headache. The temperature is 38.9, respiratory rate is 20, pulse is 112, and the blood pressure is 105/78. She is highly sensitive to light. Her neck stiffness Her neck feels stiff on passive flexion with positive Kernig's and Brudzinski sign. There is a non-blanching maculopapular rash over the body. CSF samples are sent for laboratory analysis, and she started on IV fluids and antibiotics. CSF analysis will reveal which of the following. All right. So talking about, we'll go. So basically, these are the normal values of your CSF analysis parameters. This is important even in your step 2, step 3, till you practice in your life. Okay. So cells less than 5 lymphocytes is normal. 45 to 85 glucose microgram per deciliter is normal. 15 to 45 protein is normal. Pressure 70 to 180. Okay. So now we'll talk about a bacterial case of meningitis. Okay, like in this case. So neutrophils are so basically the cells inside are very high, and this is neutrophil predominant. So do we have it in our question? No. So CSF analysis is pending right now. So let it be. So we have more than 90,000 neutrophils. Basically, you don't need to remember the number. You just need to remember it is neutrophil predominant. All right. And now coming to glucose. So glucose is decreased. Think of it like bacteria eat up the glucose inside your CSF. So in that way, you will remember that glucose is low when you have a bacterial case of meningitis. Okay. And proteins are high. You can think of it like this, like the bacterial cell membranes and all that stuff is made up of proteins. So in a way, proteins are increased. Okay. And pressure is markedly elevated. This is just a fact, because imagine if in a closed space too many bacteria are put inside, so obviously pressure will be elevated. This is a very crude way. There is no scientific explanation which I've given you. This is just a way to remember the table. Okay, you don't need to like get into the details why it is elevated. All right, not even in step 2, so don't worry about it. Coming to viral cases of meningitis. So basically in viral also cells are increased, but they are mostly lymphocytes. Okay, and you can think of it like this, that viruses are like dead outside the body, so they don't really care about eating glucose to survive. They'll just manage on their own. So it is usually normal or mildly decreased, but usually normal. Okay, same goes for the proteins. They're usually normal or slightly increased. Okay, so it is usually normal. Okay, in the questions. Same goes for your pressure in CSF pressure when you puncture with the lumbar puncture and take out CSF. It is normal or slightly elevated. So no need to worry about it. Okay. So in the exam, when it will be given, it will be specifically asking you for a virus, which is herpes simplex virus. Okay. All right. So coming to mycobacterial or fungal, same, it will be lymphocytic predominant. So when you have lymphocytes in your CSF analysis, it will be usually either viral or fungal or mycobacterial. All right. Now, these are the further things which you'll use to differentiate between viral and fungal. Okay. So the glucose is decreased. Think of fungus and bacteria both eating away the glucose inside your CSF. All right. So that is how decreased glucose. Okay, and increased proteins in both cases. And don't worry about the pressure, it is moderately elevated. Don't worry about it. But these are the three things which you need to know: cells, glucose, and proteins. All right. For Guillain-Barré syndrome, you have it's a albuminocytogenic ratio disproportion. Okay. So basically, you have normal opening pressure, normal cell levels, but you have high proteins. Okay. Usually you see wherever there are high proteins, you have high number of cells also. Okay, but in Guillain-Barré syndrome, you have just very high proteins and cells are normal. All right. So I'll repeat the same point which I said. So if you have Guillain-Barré syndrome in the question, the CSF analysis will specifically mention normal cell count but raised proteins. All right. So if you have erythrocytes in the CSF analysis, it will specifically mention, it will be usually talking either about a trauma case or your herpes simplex virus. All right.
Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more.